Welcome back. The Lib Dems are calling for swimming pools and leisure centres to be protected by law as critical health infrastructure to protect them from closure. Joining me now is the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Democrats, Daisy Cooper. A very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Talk us through the reasoning behind this announcement.
Well, local authorities have experienced a 25% cut in their funding from central government since 2015. They've suffered the inflationary effects of the mini budget, and they've had energy cost increases like everybody else as well. And the result of that is that many local authorities have taken the decision to either close swimming pools and leisure centres completely, or to close them for a few months over the winter, or to reduce the temperature in the swimming pools to save on energy costs. And what we as Liberal Democrats are saying is that if we are serious about improving the nation's health, if we are serious about enabling everybody to have access to local facilities to keep them healthy, whatever their age, whatever their condition, then we have got to start treating swimming pools and other leisure facilities as critical health infrastructure. We know that in other walks of life, we have national infrastructure like defence and cyber security, but we're not treating our health facilities in the same way, and Liberal Democrats think that we should.
The timing of this announcement is obvious, just before the local elections on Thursday. What are your expectations going into that? Do you think that the Conservatives have successfully lowered expectations, that it's going to be hard for you to come out on Friday and say this was a great day for us?
Well, last May in the local elections, Liberal Democrats broke the Sky News swingometer with the number of wins that we had last year. This year, we're working incredibly hard right across the country, and we're hopeful that we're going to make some gains in the areas where we are, particularly in the areas where we're the key challengers to the Conservatives.
The Sky News swingometer is the mark of success, so I'm glad you mentioned it. I wanted to bring up the Rwanda policy. We were talking about it with Victoria Atkins, the government minister, earlier. Do you think there have been very initial early signs of it potentially working as a deterrent, given the discussions with Ireland over the last couple of days? And I guess the important part of the question is, if by the time after the next general election of the next government coming into place, if you're a part of it, would you reconsider whether it's working then with an open mind, or flatly, morally, you're going to abolish it?
I think we're through the looking glass in the fact that the government is claiming this is somehow a success. The fact is that we've had the highest number of arrivals by small boat this year than we've ever had before, 7,000 just from the start of this year. So to claim that this is somehow a success is absolutely balmy. The fact is that when numbers of people coming by small boat into the UK goes up, then of course the number that are going to be going into Ireland goes up. So that's clearly what's happening here. Liberal Democrats have been absolutely clear that this scheme is incredibly expensive, it's unworkable, and it is immoral. And that's why we've said time and time again that we need to reinstate the safe and legal routes that allow people who have a legitimate claim to come here safely. We then need to scrap the Rwanda scheme, which has cost an enormous amount of money, £240 million so far, and that amount is probably set to double. And if you scrap the Rwanda scheme, you could spend that money on employing 6,000 Home Office caseworkers who could tackle the backlog and get those cases down and start to process those claims really quickly, ideally within 3 months. That is a workable scheme that would cost far less, that would work, and would be far more appropriate to deal with the situation.
Clearly, finances are tight. The government pledged clearly 2.5% of GDP on defence by 2030 last week. Is that sensible?
Well, clearly, we've got threats, global threats all around the world, and we see problems both in Asia and in the Middle East, and of course here in Europe as well. So we've got to take our security seriously. Liberal Democrats, we're the party of Paddy Ashdown, we're a party of defence, and what we've said is the number one priority is to reverse the troop cuts. The fact is that the government claims that it wants to increase spending on defence at some point in the future, but what they're still doing is pressing ahead with cuts to our troops. So Liberal Democrats have said there are actions the government could be taking right now in this parliament without delay to reverse those troop cuts, and that's what Liberal Democrats want to see first and foremost.
So you would spend more on defence?
So we haven't put a figure on it just yet, but we are a party of internationalists. We think that our defence security is really, really important, and the first thing we would do would be to start reversing those cuts to the troops.
OK. So the 2.5% of GDP is not a pledge you'll match, but you will spend more?
So we will set out in our manifesto, which will be a fully costed manifesto, how much we intend to spend on defence. I think we are we're an internationalist party. We're pro-defence. We are the party of Paddy Ashdown. We take our defence very, very seriously. Our defence spokesperson, Richard Ford, himself a former army officer, has challenged the government repeatedly about the level of support that this government is giving to Ukraine in particular. But we will put a figure on it in due course, and we will be a party that will make sure that we defend our country. It has to be the first responsibility of every politician.
Daisy Cooper, thanks so much. Much appreciated. The Deputy Leader of the Liberal Democrats.